Less than 3 weeks? Oh boy, we are officially less than 3 weeks away from Black Ops 6, and I'm starting to get hype, and this video is going to be the start of that hype train. And you guys are really still just pumping out your opinions, and I really appreciate that yet again. Because the game is coming out so soon, I'm really interested in hearing what you guys have to say while we don't know anything about this game. And that's what we're here to get into today. I think it'll really be interesting looking back in a year at one of these videos and kind of seeing like what we were right and weren't right about in certain things, and like what opinions held the test of time, you know? So we'll do that in about a year. But for now, let's get into this. It doesn't matter if you're excited for BO6. It doesn't matter if you like the older games. It doesn't matter if you like Transit, if you like Vanguard, if you like Mob of the Dead, if you like Black Ops 3, doesn't matter. Your opinion is welcome here on this channel. And let's remember to always keep things civil, because your opinion matters. And you guys, like, I would say as a whole, are doing a really good job of that. And that's what I love about this community here. Let's see what you guys have to say about things being objective versus subjective in Black Ops Zombies. And in case you're brand new here, after every main upload I do on the channel, I always do a follow-up to see what you guys have to say, just to make sure that you guys feel like your voices are heard and included in this community. This is Clam Rally, and welcome to the channel. Let's get into it. Juju in Flames comments saying this: the objectivity versus subjectivity argument is definitely something to think about. A great example is loadouts. Technically, in any other game or situation, this would be considered objectively good, because that means unlimited replayability, since each gun loadout is a different experience. Despite that though, I hate loadouts, and so do many people. Look, with loadouts, I'm kind of with you. Like, I don't like them. However, I do think a good thought might be like to put these in like the guided mode that they're having in each of these new maps. I know they're not going to, but I think that would be an interesting idea to kind of keep that open for the players who want that freedom of using whatever weapon they want in that guided mode, and then the regular mode, just have that be the core base, you know, regular pistol that you get, hit the mystery box for different weapons and all that stuff. I honestly think it would probably work out, honestly. As for, you know, the objective versus subjective side of it, again, it's just a preference, I guess. I prefer, you know, the older way with just starting with the pistol, but I think that giving us both options will kind of help that whole objectivity versus subjectivity problem, where people will say it's objectively good that we have both things, you know? I think that may be a good argument for something like that. Just a thought. But thank you for your comment. I appreciate you leaving that. Just a preface before we get into any more of these, some of them are really long comments, so bear with me when I get to them. But again, I really do appreciate you taking the time to leave such a long-winded comment. Like, that means a whole lot, and we're gonna get to a good handful of those. But this one's a quick one by Not DNA of Doom, I think is how you pronounce it. This is a pretty good video, and it actually opened up my eyes a bit to others' opinion. That's the goal. That's what we're trying to do around here. Thank you for watching and leaving that comment. This next comment, this one's a bit of a long one. This is from Christoph Rini, Christ of Rini, I think, whichever one that is. Thank you for leaving this comment. They say the whole Pack-a-Punch on Mob of the Dead is too repetitive and tedious, which is an objectively bad feature thing, got me thinking. If ease of access to key map features is what makes a map objectively good, understanding that deciding that this feature equals good is itself a subjective opinion, then arguably the best map might be buried. And then he lists reasons why. A ton of the map can be opened up without spending any points. And if you use Leroy right, can actually result in a surplus of points. You have some of the best wall weapons in the game available for you to put wherever you want them, including a wall by LSAT and spawn. Getting all perks for free is as simple as just walking through the witch's house without losing points a couple times. Right. I know what you mean. Power is on by default, and critical perks like Jug are pretty much immediately available to the player. The mystery box is immediately available to the player, and moving it around after a couple uses, what some would argue is a key component of zombies, right, I see what you're saying, can be disabled at the cost of a bowl of candy. Right, yeah, I totally forgot about that. Multiple buildables and the Juggernaut machine's placement make camping and high rounding insanely easy. So with all that in mind, with our definition of ease of access to game features equals good, then Buried is objectively one of the best maps in the game, yet despite that, it's often looked down upon for being too easy. I think the lesson here is that the line between fun and challenging and boring and tedious, or forgiving and accessible and too easy to be fun, is itself subjective. So there's no real objective way to rank maps. You are actually spitting right now. If anything, what you're seeing is people describing maps that have things that most people like as objectively good, and if someone likes a map that the community generally doesn't, then that's a subjective opinion. But if you look a little closer, both of these opinions are subjective. Bro, 5D chess is what you play on a regular basis, because like that's the thing, right? Like people like I said in my last video, people like zombies for a bunch of different reasons. They like the easy stuff, and they'll stick to the easy stuff because they like those better than having something be super hard. Like, and that's just, and this comment perfectly encapsulates that whole idea of things like not being able to be objective in zombies. Like when it comes to people's likes and dislikes of the mode. Like I said in my last video, as long as you got zombies, like I feel like you're pretty set, you know, and you have like perks and all that stuff. But I think that this is a really, really good comment, because it's like when you start applying rules to certain things, you got to start applying rules to other things, and it just won't make sense if you think about it like that. So this is a really good comment. Thank you so much for leaving this. All right, this next comment is gonna have me thinking for a second, so we're gonna read it right here by Lionheart089. That intro, yeah, you know, sometimes I gotta bust out the skit. Sometimes I gotta do that, you know what I'm saying? Would it be a step too far to say that Vanguard is objectively bad? I really don't think so. Ooh, that's a tough one. Ooh, we'll get back to that in a second. I can tell you for a fact, people go back to BO1 through BO3 religiously, and in 10 plus years, do you think people will be booting up Cold War / Vanguard / Modern Warfare Z to replay them in the same way? I highly doubt it. Oh, I see what you're saying. So, okay, I read that first part wrong. And if they do, it's such a small percentage. Now, do we consider the 0.01% opinion over the 99.9% just because they found a little bit of nuance that the overall consensus needs to be changed? I would say it's irrelevant. So, okay, I thought you were arguing the other thing at first. That's why I was like, ooh, that'll be tough. But I do think it's super important, again, above all, like, at least consider another opinion, right? And I think that's totally what you're doing here, and I really appreciate that. Would it be a step too far to say that Vanguard is objectively bad? Man, like I said in my last video, right? If you, honest to God, like enjoy Call of Duty Vanguard, then for real, I mean, like, more power to you. I'm glad you are able to find enjoyment out of that game that a lot of other people don't. And that, you know, I think, and I definitely did respond to this comment in the comment section. And I was kind of saying, like, I feel like the word objective, a lot of times, like, you don't want to use that word. I feel like it's not appropriate for this. And you, again, you responded to that comment too, kind of saying the same thing. I think the more proper terminology would just be like not as popular. But there's definitely a reason it's not as popular. And that whole game itself, like I was saying in my last video, is a whole nother story, like a whole video in of itself. But essentially, we shouldn't want another Vanguard at all. Like, I'm telling you guys, if you guys really like Vanguard, like, I don't think you should want another Vanguard. Like, I think it's okay if you want to like Vanguard itself, but if you want another one, like, that's where I feel like I'm just like, man, I really don't think so. Just because of how the studio was, like, treating the game at the time. Like, we really shouldn't want that again. And that's all I'm going to say about that right now. But I appreciate your comment. Thank you so much. I love this. Next comment comes from the Lucario Project. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. I'm really glad you stumbled across this. Appreciate it. Lucario Project says, as much as that transit video was a meme, I did still want to make it a big point within that video to share certain optimizations and whatnot that can be used in a match to help alleviate some of the unwarranted hate and overreaction of certain mechanics within the map, regardless of how poor of a job it ended up coming across with the parody format. Now, I was able to tell that you were doing a parody for sure, just because I've seen the other Johnny J video, and I think it's absolutely hilarious. I've said in the past that transit hatred is mainly a domino effect that stems from players not understanding how the turbine works and basically hating it due to the fact that they're missing a key part of how it operates, kind of like the Blood of the Dead Morse code step. Everyone hated it because for the longest time, nobody knew where we were doing the step incorrectly and still missing an important part about it. Zombies YouTubers of old would say the turbine is random in terms of how long it would stay open, and nobody bothered to look into it and just went with the hate bandwagon of going with what the YouTubers say. I still would like to redo that video in a sort of a no joke, completely serious way of presenting the information in a sort of ultimate guide to transit. That would actually, I would actually watch that. That would be so good. That would be awesome to make eventually. Anyways, because as time has gone on, I'm really starting to hate that video, even if it still did its job. The video is still somehow sitting at more likes than dislikes, even after the Lex Lounger bombardment. And there are a handful of comments in the cesspool of people saying they went back and played transit with the info shared in the video and had a better time. So regardless, the video still sort of accomplished its goal. And I think that's really, really nice coming, like, you know, from you, when it's like someone who really, really likes a certain map. And I'm glad you didn't like get super, I guess, offended by people probably just looking at you being like, oh, you're the transit guy, you're this guy, you know, being on the internet, you gotta have a little bit thicker skin, and I'm sure you have it by now. But it's super admirable of you to be that way about it, to not let it get to you, is what I'm getting at. With me, I used to play a lot of pubs back in the day, and transit was just one of the best maps to play pubs on. Oh, for sure. I'm definitely with you on that. It's essentially just a survival map, but it still has plenty of optimizations and a bit of a skill gap when it comes to map knowledge. But the match, doesn't get as stale as other maps that fall under the get perks, guns, pap, survive styles like Kino or Town, while also not having to worry too much about the actions of another player in the lobby or having to make sure nobody steals my lightning staff or wolf bow. So that was a lot. Yeah, I totally think that transit like has its own version of fun, and I think when people try to hold transit to the same standard that they hold transit, like that they hold other maps, then you start to see like not every map is the same. Every map's going to be different, and again, people are going to like different things because guess what? We're all different. You know, we're not going to all like the same thing, and that's the beauty of us. The only thing that's the problem is we need to accept that there are going to be different opinions in this community. So we need to learn to coexist. But thank you so much. I am happy to see you around here, and I hope you are going to watch some more stuff. I appreciate you sticking around. Thank you. Next comment comes from Gamerman Zeke. He says, some issues. Objectivity is fact, subjectivity is opinion. Most folks who are in the business of raiding COD zombies are in fact being entirely or almost entirely subjective. Nothing wrong with people enjoying mob, but it is obvious the fact the map has tedious qualities. I personally love the transit maps much more than the Blundell style due to the chaos of them. That is my example of subjective. However, it isn't subjective that Zelensky made his maps more chaotic. It is fact. My reason for liking them more because of the chaos is subjective. So I'm gonna respond to that first part first before we get to the second part, because I think the second part's a whole nother discussion, but I'm gonna do this first part first. So I'm totally with you on that, except for kind of the last part. So I kind of see what you're trying to say on this last part of it, but when you say the word fact, it implies that it is like the right thing, which again, when you talk about saying like he made his maps more chaotic, I really feel like it can't be fact, because you could argue that Jason Blundell made his maps way more chaotic as well. Because if you remember, Zelensky made all of BO1, and you can seriously argue that all of BO1 is not as chaotic as all of BO2. With all of the like new stuff that he added with the giant robots, the Panzer, like you can't really say that he made his maps more chaotic purely based off of fact, because it really depends on what you mean by the word chaotic. One person might see it as chaos, where another person might see it as just another zombies map, you know? That's just how it is. Second part of this says, $70 is your barrier to entry? Really? COD has not been lower than $60 since its multiplayer inception in COD 4. Most folks were and are still cool with games such as BO3, a game, mind you, that was $60 on launch with pre-order season pass and incentives, pay to win microtransactions galore. That pass was either $50 for one purchase or $15 per individual pack. That totaled to $60. Then Chronicles. Why bring this up? DLC is free and has been since 2019. $140 isn't that big a hurdle, but $70 is unobtainable. It is objective fact that Zombies has grown and changed and filled out as a mode over the years. It is entirely subjective whether you like it now as compared to then. So that last part, I'm totally with you. Zombies has like just completely objectively changed. Like there's no denying that at all. It's totally different than it was before. But this part, so when I mentioned it being like $70 in my video, that was mainly kind of like a small argument that I had. I just didn't want that part of it, the whole monetary aspect, to be ignored. Because I know people will have a problem with spending $10 more on a game when they're already asking you for 60. I think that was my main point. But also, you got to look at what the implications are because the game is $70. And again, I didn't want to harp on this too much because the video was about something else. But if you want to get into this real quick, there are implications that come with these games being $70 and everything else being free, is that we get loaded up with all this stuff that makes it so that Call of Duty doesn't seem like Call of Duty anymore. Black Ops 3, for sure, was the worst offender. Like, I don't disagree with that at all. But I think the whole culture behind Call of Duty is changing because the game is now an extra $10. Now everything's going to be free in the future, and that's totally fine, but that also means we get all these stupid ass microtransactions shoved down our throat. And I think I can go into it a little further, but I think that's where I'm going to kind of leave it now. I totally think that that's something I didn't really think of when I was making that video, and I appreciate you bringing that up. But I do think that is a difficult discussion to have. I actually want to ask you guys in the comments, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer paying for a DLC season pass? Or would you rather have everything after the initial purchase be free, but all that stuff means that you lose the integrity of what Call of Duty was, like the Nicki Minaj stuff, all these collabs they put in the game. That's like one of the biggest complaints people have about Call of Duty nowadays. But as always, agree to disagree, and that's totally fine. We can coexist. I appreciate you leaving your comment. And here's another comment from Neo Awakened. And honestly, I'm putting this in the spot right after my last comment because it kind of echoes the opposite viewpoint of that. He says, if you see this comment, then just know Seasons killed Zombies. If we had DLC format back then, Activision will let the devs make an actual quality product. Cold War and BO6 have all the things they need to succeed, but it just isn't cohesive. So this person likes the old format. They say the Seasons format killed Zombies. And that's like another argument for saying like why the $70 price tag, sometimes it implies more than just, oh, it's just $10 extra, you know? I'm not sure if you actually meant that comment for the last one, or you just kind of saying it for argument's sake, but Neo Awakened brings up another side, and I really appreciate both perspectives here. Appreciate you for leaving your comment. Next comment comes from Mini or Derby, thank you, sorry. They say, yeah, the community around the series can be fairly gatekeeping and toxic a lot of the time, but outside of BO6 and Liberty Falls, I feel like it's mellowed out a lot during these off years. I'm seeing more people talk about BO4 and Cold War without saying objective, and people actually giving BO4 and IW a shot, and recommendations in general. I will say though, when it comes to BO6, I don't think we have ever really had so much gameplay previews, all of the COD Next streams, as we have with this game before. It's a bit hard to compare it to Negativity Shadows of Evil pre-release since we really only had the intro cinematic back then. That is also true. Yeah, they definitely gave us a lot more than we've ever had before. I do think it is always important to remember that it's beta gameplay. Even though the game might be just like that when it comes out, there also might be a chance it's not. You know, there's always that chance, and maybe, you know, maybe it's copium, maybe it's like that, but it has happened before with not even just Call of Duty, just games in general. Games have, you know, come out a lot better than their betas. I definitely do think it's important to voice your opinion though when seeing these beta gameplay videos. And just like I've said before, trust me, if this game winds up flopping after the game comes out, like I'll be the first to say it, you know, I'll be like that. I think it's important to just wait. And I feel like just people are jumping the gun. That's all. Appreciate you leaving your comment. Thank you. Next comment is from Matsuki. Says, I remember the divide leading up to MWZ between liking either BO3 versus Cold War zombies. I was pretty shocked to see people picking sides instead of just picking apart both games to see what worked and didn't work. I'm not a zombies player primarily myself, but I thought the Easter egg solving geniuses wouldn't have taken such a black and white route to approaching the game design. I'd like to know what caused that divide. There's a long answer and then there's a short answer, but I think the short answer does just as fine. It's just people don't like change. That's kind of it. And when we get comfortable with this game mode like we have for the past however long years, like 16, 17 years, or like 15 years, I guess it is. I'm not even sure how long it's been going on for. Like, and look, I can't blame them for being upset with change. If they like the way things are, then and things are changing, then they're not going to like the newer stuff. But I think it's just, you know, and I know, you know, it's important to just keep that nuance. Sometimes it's okay to change. Sometimes you can learn to like something, you know. But if you don't like the newer stuff, I mean, more power to you. That is literally it. I can't fault you for that, you know. But thank you, Matsuki. Appreciate you stopping by again. Next comment comes from Hometown Killer. That's my other boy. Classic Claimbo W. This video is what we need right now, and this thought process and information is honestly what could save zombies. Sometimes you can love and treasure what came before while maintaining excitement over new changes and improvements. Is constructive criticism welcome? Yes. But what is basic hate gonna do? Just make everyone fight and argue. Love the content, brother. Keep it up. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's not a whole lot for me to respond to this, but I just wanted to put you in the video. Appreciate you stopping by. Go watch this channel. Go watch Matsuki too. Don't sleep on Matsuki. It's Matsuki Hometown Killer. Go check him out too. Appreciate you leaving your comments. Next one comes from Shadow Scoundrel. Says, the reason I don't view Cold War as zombies is there's so little survival in this horde mode. Mind you, I stopped with BO2, as even then I felt they jumped the shark story-wise and lost me, unlike others didn't regain interest in the story with Mob. Only got BO3 more recently and haven't played them because my PC can't handle it anymore. I solely play customs. I see. It's a glorified camo grinder because the point system, weapon tiers, and pack-a-punch levels basically pigeonholing players into loadout and wonder weapon, as players will optimize the fun out of games, and in these games cases cost far too much to get another weapon off the wall / the box, plus get to the rarity / pap level of your loadout gun that you've invested over the entire game. I totally agree with that part. I think loadouts are not great for this new zombies. BO6 looks, and by going by COD next, plays no different to me. And that always online BS is a hard pass. I totally get that part. I'm out in the sticks and can't get consistent connection out here. Yeah, that's a totally fair point to not like the game off of that. We know it's going to be always online for sure. I mean, that's a valid reason. Are you kidding me? I want the horror detective style storytelling where the community tries to put the pieces together of the mystery, but the map itself can still be enjoyed when not trying to do the Easter egg, which needed to be figured out back in the day and were the reason why they were Easter eggs rather than quests. Totally agree with that part. Hot take. Here we go. I hate Origins. Ooh, hate Origins. I hate Origins because Samantha won't shut up about doing the quest. That's a great point. That's all the map is for. I don't load maps up just to repeat the quest over and over and over again. I just want to survive to like round 30, enjoying the quips of the characters and shooting stuff. Maybe doing challenges like Pack-a-Punch, everything starting rooms, etc. Easter eggs should feel like a big deal that you opt into once people find out how to do it, of course, not get nagged by the characters to do it / be handheld. If you want something that changes the vibe / how it plays / how the story is told / etc., call it something different. As for my favorite, World at War and Black Ops 1. Can't really pick between them. Ugh, I really wanted this comment in the video because I totally, like, I love this comment. Some of you guys might be thinking I'm just beef stroganoff the new maps or the new games, but again, like I always say this, my favorite zombies experience is Black Ops 1. Like overall experience. My favorite map's Mob of the Dead, but my favorite overall experience is Black Ops 1 because of the simplicity behind it. And I know, Shadow Scoundrel, you feel that same way. I don't mind the newer games and I don't mind Cold War just because I've learned to like them, but I totally get that you don't like them because they kind of handhold you and tell you what to do. Like, I'll honestly say kind of like Origins. Origins, like, tells you what to do kind of, but it's more so like rhetoric. You still have to kind of figure out what she means by what she says that. I do like the connection kind of between the campaign and zombies with the steps of the Easter egg, but I do kind of agree, like she talks a lot, just like the Cold War characters do. Definitely didn't think of that. But totally love this comment. But appreciate you for leaving this comment. I'm really glad I put this in. I'm really glad you commented. Thank you. All right, we're gonna go through 4 more comments. 2 of them are a little longer and the other 2 are a little bit shorter, but the last one, I'm saving one of the best for last. Next one comes from Herald of Woe 3686, and they say, hot take here. Zombies has slowly been turning into extinction. Ooh, oh my gosh, I haven't played extinction in so long. Special ammo types, loadouts, selectable starter weapon, purchasable kill streaks, specialist abilities, operators, customizable weapons, turning the enemy into friendly, boss fights, in-game currency for permanent upgrades, purchasable ammo boxes, fixed points per kill, critical and assist as well, story told through intel and telecoms, seeing enemies through walls, elemental explosives, health bar, armor system, and literally exfilling sequences. This all started first here. Grant this, I have not played Extinction since I was probably 15 years old. That was over a decade ago, and some of the stuff I just don't remember, so I'm just gonna take your word for this. This comment's crazy, and I think that's super interesting considering the reception to Extinction way back in the day, and it just totally flopping. I think it's different now because, well, I kind of think it's similar. People are kind of looking at the new zombies like that and disliking it because of that, but I think people have this connection to Treyarch, and they think that Treyarch is like the ones that should do something like that. So if there's any variance in what Treyarch has done, it's automatically bad. So I think this is super interesting to look at considering how far we've come, and people are more accepting of this stuff now than they were back in the day. But appreciate you leaving this. Had not thought of this. That is super interesting. All right, this one's gonna be like the last like long comment. This is from ZimG115, I believe is how you say it. It says, yay, Clam, how you doing? I'm doing all right. How you doing? I'm doing all right. Appreciate you stopping by. I've been playing zombies nonstop since BO1. When BO2 came out, I stayed for the story, but the Victus maps fell off for me. That's the time I tried World at War, and yeah, that was crazy. Well, on BO3, I got my first own console. I was just playing zombies at friend's house, although I was the one that hyped them up talking about the story because I was so into it. I'm totally with you. I was playing it over friends' houses because I could not play it at my own house. So yep, I bought a PS4 and played the shit out of BO3 and all the Easter eggs and that shit. Crazy times, beautiful times, totally agree. I had a sense of overcoming difficult stuff, adventuring in a quest through time and space. The destiny of the universe depending on our loving character, on our loved characters, was something great in the sense of something huge happening through my controller and my fingers. I was part of it. It's just so beautiful. Oh, this comment is so wonderful. In Cold War, I kind of lost track of the story. I'm with you, but I felt absolutely in love with the gameplay. You see, almost never have time to play. I have uni, full-time job, girlfriend, and everything else adult life requires me to do. If I can hop in D-Machine or Mauer or Onslaught and shred some zombies, man, I'm having fun. If I can schedule the time to do an Easter egg with a friend, damn, we have a good day right there. I think I'm lucky to have enjoyed the hardcore era on the time I could actually play. Barely have time now. I actually bought Cold War after Vanguard released because I realized I was gonna have to wait even longer for more proper zombies. For BO4, I was transitioning into my adult life, moving country and working my ass off, so definitely didn't play much. Been thinking writing this for so long, finally did in between preparing for dinner and washing dishes. Take care, man. Truly the 0.115% that made it to the end of this comment. And I'm part of that, and so are all of you. I love this comment so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to leave this because I totally get how life can just get in the way. And that's something I think really important to consider when you have people like our boy Zim, I think that's how you pronounce it, Zim G, who want to play zombies. They want to play this game mode, but they just don't have all the time in the world to put in like for a full-on Easter egg or to figure out how to set up for the map. They just want to come in, play some zombies, kill some zombies, that's it. And I think that's what Black Ops 6 is going to do really well, is have time for both of those people to do that. And I think that's really their goal in this. And that's what I'm super excited about, being accessible for people like us who are definitely going to play the game and do all the stuff that's in it, or for people like Zim who doesn't have the time to. I surely understand that. Work got to me back when I was at my old job, like so much, and I just felt like I couldn't get to it because I was just so involved with life and I just really wanted to play the game. But Zim, I totally get you, man. But I figured this comment was worth me putting in the video because your perspective is so welcome here. Your perspective is so welcome here. And I really appreciate you just opening up and leaving that for us to look at. W's for Zim in the chat. W's for Zim in the comments, please. Thank you so much for leaving that. All right, we got 2 more comments coming up. Jacob Young 1803 says, I got 3 main hot takes. 1, I think BO3 has the worst feeling gunplay in all of main Treyarch games. Ooh, damn, that's a hot one. That is a hot one. They all feel stiff, and so do many of the wonder weapons, with a few exceptions like the KT4. 2, the new point system is way more encouraging to use a variety of weapons, at least in BO6. In the old games, you would always have the wonder weapon and a fast firing weapon. BO3 changed that with the AATs, but I feel like the variety was worse since you would just get a wall buy. The new games allow for way more variety and strats since all guns have their own advantages, like killing zombies fast with a shotgun or pistols allowing for more speed, and a return of the Mustang and Sally. 3, I haven't played World War II Zombies all too much, but from what I've played, I rather would play Vanguard and have more fun with it than World War II. Damn! Also, one side note, what makes COD Zombies zombies? Each game has their own theme. Why does a game like BO6 get treated as not zombies, but something like Infinite Warfare that's way different does? I love Infinite Warfare, by the way. Yeah, dude. Oof, we got some hot ones in this one. So I'll start with number 1. BO3 has the worst feeling gunplay of all the main Treyarch games. So I can see that. I can totally see why people say that, and I do, surprisingly, I think I agree with you in the fact that I prefer something like Cold War over the movement system in BO3. I learned the movement system pretty good in BO3. Like, I can jump, slide, and move around. I do think it is a lot smoother, though, in the newer games. At least just like regular movement. Maybe not the sliding, but I kind of get that one. Number 2. New point system is way more encouraging to use a variety of weapons. So that is where I kind of have to disagree. I think that when people tend to find that there is a weapon that does the killing the best, that is the weapon they're going to use because that is the most efficient way to get points. Whereas in Black Ops 1, you can, if you're in a higher round situation, you can farm points with that not as powerful weapon. But most weapons are gonna be like that because so you can pick whichever one you want almost, kind of. And then the like whole pistols allowing for more speed, I haven't noticed that enough, but maybe I just haven't looked into it as much. But to me, it didn't seem like it was all that worth it, unless I'm totally just missing something. Return of the Mustang and Sally, hell yeah. And then you said you haven't played World War II Zombies all that much, but you'd rather play Vanguard. Ooh. First off, as always, if you really like this game, like if you like parts of this game, more power to you. Again, I don't ever want that to seem like I'm dogging you or anything like that. I'm just reacting based off of my own opinion on the map. But if you really enjoy Vanguard more than World War II, then honest to God, more power to you. I just don't agree. So maybe if you're talking about Shino Numa, maybe. Because I'm gonna even say the new Shino Numa, and a lot of people agree with this because I think it kind of just is a good map. Well, Shino Numa is a good map, so I guess if you bring back Shino Numa, then you know that people are gonna like it. If you're referring to that, then sure. But I really just dislike the rest of Vanguard. I like World War II. I didn't play it as much as I would have wanted to play it, but I did just play it somewhat recently, and I played the Final Reich, and I had a good time on that. So I think that even tops what I played in Vanguard right now. I'm gonna have to politely disagree with that one, but that's fine. That's totally fine. We can coexist. And then the last part, totally agree with, saying you don't know why BO6 gets treated as not zombies, but like something like Infinite Warfare does. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's just a different game. That's all. Appreciate you leaving your comment. Thank you. And the final comment of the day comes from our boy, Burger. Burger will be honest. The important part of zombies, at least for Burger, is the story. Burger can't feel attached to something that happened before their time playing zombies. For example, one of the best zombies experiences Burger has had is in Black Ops 4. The gameplay was good. The story was good. Pretty much everything Burger needs to have fun. That, and being able to understand what's happening. Burger hates that you have to watch lots of videos to understand the lore of the Ether. And yes, Burger liked Vanguard, and Burger has told multiple times his experience with other games. Vanguard was a solid 7 out of 10, fun enough, with an interesting story, and the best version of Shino Numa, and a peak boss fight versus the Bark No Bite of Cortifex. I don't blame Burger for Burger feelings. I respect Burger perspective, and Burger is happy you respect their perspective of these games. May we all clap for Burger. Guys, this is just straight up beautiful. This is exactly what I wanted from this. Burger just let us know how he felt about Vanguard. He's not afraid to say that he likes it, and that's totally fine. And that's what I want from this. I don't want you guys to feel afraid to say you like something that not a lot of people don't. If you like Vanguard, then sure, you can like Vanguard. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean I have to police people around here. Thank you, Burger, for leaving that comment. I appreciate you coming back and coming around and leaving your opinion, but thank you, Burger. We can all coexist, and that's the point of this channel. I really appreciate you guys for telling me all your hot takes, quote unquote crazy is what I mean. But that's what this is all about. This is all about the community here. I appreciate you guys for sticking around this whole time. There were a lot of comments this time, or there wasn't as many comments. They were a lot longer. But again, thank you guys so freaking much. With Black Ops 6 coming up around the corner, I got a few more things I'm going to talk about during this time. So I'm working on a Halloween video, and I got a couple other things I want to talk about. If you guys are interested in a specific topic that you want me to talk about, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to take a look at them. I'll like them and I'll respond to them, and we'll take a look at what we're going to do. All right. But other than that, thank you so much. And oh my gosh, I have to mention this. The support you guys have been giving me over this past few weeks is utterly crazy. Like, for real. I appreciate all you guys for just the love and the likes and all my new subscribers that are coming in. Thank you guys so much. We're going to keep this up. Don't worry. Don't you worry. We're going to be here. We are here. Locking in. So if you like this stuff, hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, because we're going to keep this going. All right. Thank you guys. I will be playing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero in the meantime, but thank you guys. I'll be also working on some special stuff for y'all too. Got something coming by the end of the year. But thank you guys so much again for watching. Let me know if you guys like this by hitting that like button, hitting that bell, and subscribing, or subscribing then hitting the bell. Thank you guys so much. Your boy Clambo is out of here. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.